All right, we're back with another exciting edition of the Call Up Podcast, and I am so glad to have Robert Rudman from Mattel. He is the copywriter from Mattel. Is that correct? I want to make sure I got this right.
You got that right. I'm the brand copywriter for Mattel on WWE and Masters of the Universe.
Okay, great. Yeah, because that was one of the questions that I had for you was like, do you only work on WWE product, or does like Mattel have you do like other projects as well?
Oh, I'm all over the place. Anything that requires any sort of if we have got like a spot, like a script that we want to have the superstar promote it, I'll write it up I'll write up a draft. I'll take it to the superstar, and just being such the fanboy for wrestling that I am, they're like, "Yep, this sounds like him. Let's good to go." And that's how we promote the product. Stuff that'll go on like social, the sales stuff, the packaging stuff, our Comic-Con panels. Like the past couple of years, we've had to do the virtual Comic-Con panels.
Right.
We had to like script that out because it's not just like here's AJ Styles and here's Becky Lynch, loud roar. There was actually like a little bit of scripting that need to go into it. And then I get to do some other projects too, because I love posing action figures whenever we do an event. And when we get to do events again, anytime anyone's seen like those big diorama displays, that's like my pet project whenever we're at a Comic-Con or Access. So yeah, I got a little bit of my fingers in a little bit of everything, but love, but yeah, anything that's the written word that's attached to WWE and Mattel, that's this guy.
How long does it take for you to like actually like complete one of these things? Because I know like looking at the packaging here, I know we talked off air about some of the like the details with like the scene that I'm holding up here. Like how long does it take you to like actually like put these things together?
In what way? For me to like do the copy on the back, or are you talking about like the development of the figure into the packaging?
Just like the development of the figure in general.
Oh, we usually have got like about a year lead time from the time where it's like we do, we'll do lineups, and then sometimes you have to do revised lineups because they do roster shifts as they're doing right now, and we need to make some adjustments. So after that, and then we get alignment. That's when the development of the figure starts. It goes through various stages of approvals, both internally and then through licensor. Along that time, then we start developing the packaging. Anyone who's followed the Mattel WWE has noticed that the line look changes. That's part of our DNA is we do these packaging refreshes. It's constantly keeping us fresh on shelves. So when we do something like that, that's like a lot more legwork for our design team to really play around with new graphics, new shapes, new pack outs, things like that. And then once we start getting into waves, once we've got something established, then it's just like, okay, let's find these good images. Let's find these good action shots. That's usually where I come in once we start doing the packaging development and start doing the copy on the back panel. And if there's anything special like the Masters of the WWE Universe where there's a comic, that's a completely different schedule. And then we start going into these final approvals process where it's like final product, final packaging, do a couple of rounds of that, get licensor sign off, and then a few months later off the shelves. But usually it's like a year ahead of time.
Wow, that's great to know, because I know for like me being the collector, I always sit there and wonder like, man, how long does it take for them? Because like as a fan, we only see the like a rendering of whatever it is that you guys are working on, and then you kind of just like, okay, it's gonna come out holiday 2021 or 2022, and we kind of like, man, why does it take so long when you have it right there, or like Bill or Steve is like showing us a prototype of something, and we're like, you guys already made it already, like we want this now, we want this now type of thing. And now a lot of people now can see like the long process of what it takes to get this project together and get this action figure out there to, like us fans.
Yeah, and our fans are definitely hungry for the newest news. They want to know, is this guy who's brand new, who I haven't seen before, are you guys doing a figure of him? Dominic Mysterio, really great example. Dominic is just like really starting to hit it hard. We had something into the development process and we're able to showcase it, but it's still just a render. But that being said, what we're able to show and where we're at isn't necessarily like, it's not like one-on-one. The stuff that we're showing people is the stuff where we're at that comfortable state, but we're still messing with like little details here and there to make sure that the figure is perfect by the time it gets to shelf.
So last month we had San Diego Comic-Con, and you guys revealed like two big things. The first thing was the Ultimate Edition Sergeant Slaughter, which you made a cameo in that. If people don't remember, you look at the packaging, you're sitting there with a big smile on your face in the poster. Congratulations on that one, because I mean that's on anybody's wish list to like get on a packaging like that.
Dream come true,
right?
Dream come true.
How fun was that to make?
It was awesome. I mean, I grew up when I first started collecting. It was LJNs. Our packaging designer Bruce Mode, who appeared in the Sergeant Slaughter, was one who presented it. It was his idea of like, I want to get everyone in the team in the background so that way we can all have a little bit of this moment. Stroke of genius. Like I love little stuff like that. And just like the conception, how it all finally came together, from the look of the packaging to the way that Sarge just posed out, or just like really, like the first time that I saw it, like I love all the product that we do, and I see stuff and I'm blown away. When I first saw the Sarge, it touched me in such that nostalgic sweet spot that I literally got goosebumps on my arms.
And just with the popularity of this, because this sold out in like seconds. Once it
minutes,
yeah, it was just like 3 minutes. Everybody was complaining like this thing is sold out, and then I was just like, really? Because I've seen so many people, saying like I couldn't get one. It sold out so fast. Yeah, I know for Mattel, that's something like a big win there. So, will we ever get like more legends to have like ultimate editions like the way the Sergeant Slaughter is?
If that's what people want, you mean like in like that classic style pack out?
Yes.
With like that. People seem to be really big fans of it, and if we see enough noise of it, I personally think that it was great. I personally would love to see us kind of try to explore that. I think it's a great idea. I hope so. I certainly hope so. It feels like something that we should do. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, that's true. I would love to see just like other, classic superstars that we've had in the past, like get that same type of packaging and just see this line, especially that production of it, like continue to grow.
Give me the call up 3. Who would be your 3?
I would say King Harley Race.
Yeah. Love to do Harley.
King Kong Bundy.
Yeah,
exactly. And the last one, I mean, I probably would say a Piper.
Roddy Piper with the soft goods.
Yes.
None of those are bad choices. I mean, I think like especially for Harley, that the one Elite Harley that we did was in that flashback wave. Right. And it was a very low production run, so that figure became very rare. So once we get rights back to Harley, there's been a lot of hunger to get another Harley figure out there. So I think that one is a great choice to lead off with. You were like immediately, you're like King Harley Race.
Yeah, because for me, like you said, like it was such a low production, and it's so hard to find now. Like if you look on eBay, like even a loose King Harley Race is going for a couple of $100.
That's right.
To get a new one and to maybe get like this type of packaging that you guys did like with Sergeant Slaughter, with like I could only imagine like the value of that as soon as it comes out, it's just gonna skyrocket up.
Yeah, and I don't think it's any secret that Harley Race is one of Bill McKenna's favorite all-time wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that would probably be something as soon as we get the ability to do Harley, Bill is going to be like, when can I do King Harley Race?
Exactly. So the next thing you guys revealed was the new gen arena.
Uh-huh.
And for me, we spoke off air, and I told you that I would give my opinion. And I love it because it just takes me back, like when you guys revealed everything, and you told us like the details of everything when it came to the ring. Like the ring has like the panels, like if you actually like sitting there building this ring, and me being a really big wrestling fan, when I was a teenager, I went to a wrestling school.
Oh, I didn't.
So yeah,
That's cool.
so one of the things that you had to do, as they say you pay your dues, is when you do like when the school is doing shows, you're sitting there and you're putting together the ring. So when you guys came and you showed us like underneath the skirt and it had the wood panels, and you say, hey, you guys got to put the wood panels together, build the ring together. It took me back to that time of grabbing the wood, taking it to the gym, putting it together as a team. And I was just like, man, I could do that with the kids and show them how to put it together. Cause like now, we get the rings that we get now, they kind of just put the straps, put the ropes on there. Everything's already built for you. But with this one, it's something that you can just sit there and build the whole thing. And then you have the entrance way, which lights up, and I loved it right then and there. I was just like, okay, I have to buy this like as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, that was like that was again like kind of like McKenna's little spark of like his eyes lit up, and he like wanted to build the ring like a real ring. And some people are looking at it, it's like, oh, it's another authentic scale ring.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people are underestimating how emotional you can probably get building this thing. It's it definitely is, I think, like a collector experience when you get to do that. Like, I think that people are just thinking about like, where am I going to display it? What am I going to do? And not actually thinking about, this is one of those toy experiences that it's not like you're saying, it's not like a kid's toy. There's an authenticity to it that is for anyone who's a wrestling fan, anyone who's been watching WWE, WCW, anything, AEW, NXT. If you're a fan of it, you're like, it's just going to hit you right in the feels of just of having that experience of like, this is what it's like to actually build and put it together. I also think that people are also I've seen like a whole bunch of I would say price confusion over that new gen entrance stage. People have been like, oh, if that was on the market, that was $30. I'm just thinking to myself, I was like, we did a Reckon entrance stage that was just like plastic kids break apart, not to scale at all, nothing special about it except to add fall apart features, and that was like a $20 to $30. This thing is it's to scale. It's got so many electronics and LEDs, some of which recreate the lights on the entrances of superstars from that era, and some of them are completely new and unique, but there's never been anything like it before, whether you want to have it as out on display or whether you want to go back and be a little kid for a moment and walk your figures.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, like, once this thing gets made and we have it in hand, we're gonna end up doing that anyway. And for anybody who didn't back it, they're just gonna be like, man, I should have backed this. Now I gotta go secondary market, because I've heard people buy 4 or 5 of these things. I think Matt Cardona said he's up to like 4 of them right now. I have one because I just wanted for myself. I don't plan on like reselling it or anything. So I can only imagine like other people. Like I have other friends that said they've bought 2, one to keep with them and one to like keep in box because they're like MOC collectors. So like But like one of the things that I love about it, and just to get your opinion on it, is just like the way the community has come together, the figure community has come together to like help Mattel push this ring to get made. Like I know you're sitting there, like you read the responses of a lot of people. So like, what are
every day.
your thoughts?
There's a, it's a huge bag of all sorts of different reactions. There have been people like yourself who have been super supportive and who really want to help push to get it funded and are on board right away. There are other people who are like, I really want it. The price point's too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone can't afford it, look, you can't afford it. Like it's our offering that's made for us. There are other ways that those people could, if they want to try to help get word out, use their social media, get on message boards. There are other ways to support besides buying. There have been people who are on the fence. They saw it. There have been people who kind of had this like price misperception value.
Mm-hmm.
Some people on the fence are, they're like, okay, I'll go in on it. I think especially after we did the adjustment on the credit card, it's been a lot of learning from that. So we did that. The Macho Madness announcers pack, which is going on until Friday, August 13th, this coming Friday.
Yep.
And that's got a lot of people that got a lot of people a lot more feeling like people said, we want something more to build out the arena. Another figure would bring value, and we found a way to make it happen. So and then there have been some people who I think that there's a lot of the feedback is super helpful. The critiques are super helpful because it gives us an idea of like what the community is asking for moving forward. This offering is what it is. This offering, it's incredible. It's amazing. And I think that what you're going to see is what happens with a lot of these crowdfunding campaigns. You're going to see it kind of like tick up. And then when you start to get to the very end, you're going to have
explode.
People are going to pull the trigger, and then you're going to have some people who didn't, and then later on they do have to go to the secondary market and get one. So it's like why wait? We're trying to just like incentivize people to do it. We hear all this stuff about do people need an elite scale ring or an authentic scale ring? People have questioned whether or not that was something that was for them. I think that's probably the most common thing. This ring is intended to be the last authentic scale ring that you would ever need. So, this is going, I know that Steve has said it on other podcasts, that we're not to say we would never do another ring again if there's something like Hell in the Cell or Elimination Chamber that we would want to do a full scale. We might introduce a ring, but this is supposed to be the core of everything that you would need. And then in a future offering, maybe we switch out the turnbuckles and ring skirts. So that way you can just customize it without actually needing to repurchase the entire thing. All the comments are valid. I've got faith in this thing. I think that it's following a certain trajectory where we've got some momentum going in our favor. And I see this thing getting back, and I see some people having a little bit of regret after.
Oh yeah, I know that once this thing gets funded and like you can't get it again, the message boards are gonna go right back up, and people are gonna be like, man, I wish I would have got this ring, especially now because like we see it through like Mattel's eyes, and we see like that one video, but like once everybody else starts to like actually start posting their purchases and like, hey, I just bought this ring, let me show you an unboxing video, or like a lot of the figure photographers are going to end up using it, and you start seeing that's when like the itch starts coming in, and you're just like, damn, I wish I would have got this thing when I had the chance, and now I got to go on eBay and probably spend $400 to like $500 on this thing, and it's probably just the ring alone. Because even if you don't say you just want the diesel, you can sell everything else off. You know, so it kind of just like tells you, for like a collector's point, like, what are you waiting for? Just go out and get this thing.
Yeah, and you know, I think that people are also underestimating that diesel. That the shot that you're seeing on the Mattel Creations website, that's a 3D printed figure with pieces that are just kind of like, that's not going to be the final product. We haven't told the product yet. We haven't put in development. That's the entire purpose of this campaign. Is this is a big expensive item. All the stuff that people have seen are models. You know, some of my favorite Ultimate Edition figures, and it's my favorite action figure line. Like, I think that for like dollar to dollar, it's the best action figure segment that's out there. Some of my favorite ones, I think, are Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold, Cena, the new Cena. I don't know if people have started getting that one yet, the one that came out with Rock, but
yeah,
they're like, it's the ones that you don't think are gonna be are going to blow your mind. Once you get them in hand, you're like, damn, this is such a good action figure. And Diesel is going to be the same way. I said it before. I'm just like, you know, maybe on Ultimates, you're like, oh, which ones are good, which ones are bad. Name me an Ultimate that's like been a bad Ultimate. You know, and now I think, you know, people had concerns about the talent choice, which, you know, is another thing that we've noted for, like, you know, for future stuff. But that was also part of the reason why I wanted to do this Macho in his WrestleMania 10 last WrestleMania appearance deco that I don't think that we would ever be able to do outside of like this, because it's so deco heavy. And if you don't love Randy Macho Man Savage and you don't love this look, what are you doing?
Like, it's crazy, because I was so surprised, like, when you guys came with this announcement, because like you guys gave us so much stuff. Like, you was like, okay, we're giving you Diesel, you go up more, we give you Dunk, and then you go up more, you give you ring skirts, and then you was like, you know what, before that even happens, we're gonna give you this Macho Man, we're gonna give you the announcer table, we're gonna give you the chairs, the screen. And I'm like, it's like, I don't know if maybe somebody else is waiting for more, like, you know, you kind of just like trying to grab a little bit more, you know.
Here's what I think is also going to happen, because this was like, this is what happened with Back to Large, right? That was like Hasbro's first HasLabs crowdfunding. Started out really slow, and at the very end, it bulldozed at the very end and picked up a ton of steam, and it unlocked all the extra stuff. And, you know, we've seen that with like some other companies where, you know, it takes a little while to get there, and people are like, oh, the support's not there. Then at the very end, it winds up funding. I think that this is not that Doink is going to get unlocked. I think that it's going to have a snowball effect. I think that's going to like momentum. And the closer that we get to that 5,000, the more people are like, oh, this is closer, really happening. Then once it goes over there, then people are going to start stretching to get Doink, because they're really going to want it. And the people who get it now are going to get Diesel, Macho, and Doink, as opposed to the people who are going to get the initial offering, which is still amazing, of Diesel and Doink. So I'm just like encouraging everyone, like, get the most, if you're able to, get the most value right now. It's there. We're putting it on the table completely for collectors in a way that people would never be able to get it in any other way.
Man. So when it comes to packaging, because this is one of the things that was like running through my mind, like, as far as like packaging for this thing is concerned, with all the stuff that is coming with it, would it be individually like packed away, or is it like everything all together?
So the way that the way that we're planning on packaging it, it's going to have well, first of all, the Macho Madness 6 announcers pack is going to be in its separate shipper, but everything else is going to be packed together, because that's an exclusive offer. but all the figures are going to come in, some form of the Ultimate Edition packaging.
Oh, great.
So that way you'd be able to stack them all together. Anyone who's seen any of Steve's stuff, he's got them all lined up along his shelf. On top of which, it's all intended to be the Ultimate Edition unboxing experience, which is you take it out of the box, you take a picture, or you play a match with your kid, and then you can put it right back into the box.
Nice.
The ring is supposed to be the same way. The initial rendering that we saw was you have one figure, you would have your Diesel, and then underneath that you would have your Doink, both of them in Ultimate Edition packaging. Right next to both of them, you would have the entrance stage packed out, and then you lift that up, and underneath that is your ring with all of the extra, with all the compartments that go to that, all neatly stacked, so that way so for the people who are saying, I don't have enough room, and that might be a barrier, you can take it out, you can play with it, or take a picture of it, and then you can put it, you don't
in the box.
Just break it back down, put it right back into the box. It keeps it nice and fresh, so it doesn't get dust on it, it won't get any extra paint on it, and you can just put it away in the closet. It's going to be the size of a box. So space issue is only for when you want to take it out to use it, or just make it the centerpiece of your entire collection. That'll be great.
Oh my God, you describing the packaging alone got me so excited that I can't wait to get this in my hand now, because I just want to see the whole packaging together and just take it apart, put it together, and for you're saying, you can, if you don't have the space, you can just put it back inside the box and then tuck it away in the closet, and that's my issue with me, because I don't have any space. I'm just okay, I want to take this out, I can show my kids, and then we could just put the whole thing back inside the box. I could put it in my closet and make sure nothing happens to it.
Which goes back to the wrestler experience. Every single time you got to take out the ring, put the planks down, put the steel girder up. When we did our Comic-Con panel, I was even though I wasn't on the panel, because I was doing script, I was checking to make sure everything was being read correctly. You could see everyone's reaction, and I was like, man, I really want to see Gargano and Cole's reaction when they see how you build this thing, because those guys famously came up from the very bottom until where they're at now, and both of their eyes just completely light up. Go back and watch that, and they're both just completely blown away by that feature.
Oh my God, yeah, that's true. That's why when I saw that, it took me back to when I was a teenager, sweating on a summer day, taking these things out of a U-Haul and taking it into another sweaty gym just to put it all together and watch everybody else enjoy themselves for the night.
Well, this time you get to put it all together and you get to enjoy yourself for the night.
Exactly. So we talked a little bit about Mattel. We talked a lot about wrestling figures, and one of the things that I love to do here on the show is to get to know more of the person that I'm talking to. So one of the questions that I want to know about you was action figure, just designing action figures and just being a part of a team like that, was that always your dream job, or did Robert have another dream job that he didn't pursue?
I always wanted to do writing. And my mom tells a story when I was a kid where I was I want to be a writer on WWE. I didn't even know that I just know I liked writing and I liked wrestling. Sorry, it was WWE back then, but she recalls that. I don't really recall that, but I trust my mom's word. She's my mom. Well, my mom lied to me. So, but I've been through, the job that I got now allows me to do a little bit of everything. I get to work in the toy product design, because I've always been a collector at heart. When I was a kid, I was huge into action figures. As I got older, it might have transferred a little bit over into collecting DVDs, or like in college days, like collecting music, and then into collecting comic books, and all the stuff I was always interested in was always was always still in my orbit. So to kind of do what I'm doing now, which is being involved in that toy process, getting to write the little mini comics for He-Man and some of the WWE Masters figures, to be able to like work on some scripts for wrestlers and or for the superstars. Sorry, staying on brand. It really is like I describe it as if I had to take a time machine and go back to myself when I was like 8-9 years old, and say, you're going to grow up and you're going to work in toys, but it's going to be wrestling toys, it's going to be WWE, and you're going to be working on He-Man and Masters of the Universe stuff also. I would be perfectly okay with getting older.
Oh, okay. Your little self will probably be like, yeah, right. No, I'm not. Like, you'll probably run away and wondering, like, who is this guy? I've
always been a very naive person. I would just believe myself. I could have told myself, like, oh, you're going to grow up to be president. And I would have been like, really?
What do your kids think about, like, what you do? Like,
they love it. You know, especially during COVID. It's made things very challenging. So I've got in our process, and I work with the packaging team. I'm like, okay, I'll receive like our packaging samples so we can take a look at our 3D reviews. So for them, it's like being able to see just like wrestling figures come in. They're always the first one to check it out, and they get really excited. They've gotten really into like all right. So ever since WrestleMania, they've gotten super into it. Monday and Tuesday we watch Monday Night Raw. Wednesday and Thursday we'll put on NXT, and then Friday and Saturday will be SmackDown. This is like our nighttime thing. Not because I'm saying anything, because my kids are like, let's all like hang out together.
Right.
You know, because of the nature of what I do and how long that I do it, they just have, you know, a ton of toys to play with. And I try to teach them about, you know, about the right way to appreciate a toy, both as a kid, but then also as like, I like to have them up from a collector point of view. And there's a part of them that gets it. Like just this morning, my youngest, he's really super into Minecraft right now.
Right.
And this morning I walked down and he's like, Dad, come check out my setup. And he has like he put all his Minecraft, because I do this. He like sees that, and he's always wanting to like put figures up on shelves. Or he has his wrestling ring and he puts figures up. And I'm like, but he's 5 years old. And he's actually putting them in moves and like still frames. I'm blown away by it.
Yeah, my 6-year-old is not doing that.
Nope. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was like the way that I approach it, or just because that they're my kids. But yeah, I mean they're so young enough where they think it's cool. Probably by the time that they get into middle school, I'm going to be very embarrassing to have as their father. But until that time,
if they keep it up this way, they're just going to probably ask you for like action figures that hasn't come out yet. Like, Dad, I got to be that cool kid. They're talking about wrestling figures. Like, you got to give me something that they don't have so I can show it off. Or they'll probably just sneak inside your room, take a picture of something so they can just show it off. Because it's, you know, our kids growing up now. Yep. You know, our kids now, you know, like they walk around with a cell phone, so they could take like a million pictures. For us, when we were kids, we had to do word of mouth. It was like we had to show it. So like if our dad had something that was cool, we had to sneak it out the house, show it to our friends, and hopefully, you know, sneak it back in without getting into any kind of trouble. You know.
I was just watching The Sandlot last night with my kid, and where they had the scene with the Babe Ruth ball. That was exactly what that was.
Oh my God. Well, so,
We were our own social media back then.
exactly. It was like a hope and a prayer that you can like get this thing back inside the house without getting caught.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. So you mentioned like some of the issues that you had with with COVID and everything, but one of the bright sides that to it was that you got to be home more, and you took on something that I looked at, and me and you talked about it off air. You got into more cooking than anything else.
That's right.
Me and you became fans of the cooking channel, so did your cooking game improve through quarantine, or
For certain, so I got very focused on like stuff that was simple and easy to make, but I wanted to do it perfectly. I especially with like steak. I got like obsessed with like steak videos. So I would go to the store, I would get a ribeye, and then I would like cook it, and then I would be eating it, and then watching another video to see like how like Guga or Maddie Matheson or like whoever, just kind of like what are their techniques, and there were like certain things that lined up. I was like, and I did like a lot of experimenting over that time.
What is like some of the shows that you love to watch, or like are you still watching them now, or can you kind of like?
Oh, you mean for cooking?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's like great tips. I mean, Maddie Matheson I find like extremely entertaining, and he's an incredible cook. Guga Foods, he does like also like sous vide anything. He's got 2 different YouTube channels where he does like all these weird steak experiments, but then he's also got ones where he just kind of teaches you the basics of how to cook something. And then there's this one dude who I think it's That Dude Can Cook. He was just like some sort of video that would come through my TikTok feeds, and I just started using some of his tips. I'm like, oh, this guy actually, he knows what he's talking about. So those are, I think that those are probably like my main 3 that I kind of have used as like a little bit of a resource of my trusted, like those are guys who I'll go through for like, if I want to try out something new, I'll go through them.
And it's funny that you mentioned TikTok, because like I downloaded TikTok. Everybody was downloading TikTok to do dance videos or like funny skits. And with me, because I worked at night, I was watching TikTok videos, and then all of a sudden I stumbled upon all these different chefs on TikTok that would make these really cool short videos. And it's like, okay, if you want to see the full recipe, go on my YouTube channel. And I ended up going on their YouTube, and I told my wife, and she was just like, you have a TikTok? And I was like, yeah, for cooking videos. And she was like, what? She was like, you're taking it to the extreme, because I love to cook, but through quarantine, I just basically started cooking even more because everybody's home.
That's
sometimes,
right.
Sometimes the kids are like away, they're playing with other kids. My wife is working and I'm home. So I'll make something quick for myself. But now that they're home, my wife is home, I used to just be like, hey, I want to try a new recipe out. You're my guinea pig. And my wife would just go, okay, no problem. And then she says, at one point she was like, okay, I'm starting to gain weight. Like, I can't do this no more. You have to find somebody else. So I just started like asking like coworkers. It's like, I'm gonna bring you something, and you could take a look at this stuff and like just taste it. Tell me what you think.
Coworkers must love you.
Oh my God.
If someone ever says to me like, I made this at home, you want to try one? I'm just like, yes. Like, okay,
exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. So what is like your number one steak that you love, and how would you prepare it?
So my number one steak that I love is a tomahawk ribeye, but I'm still trying to figure out how to perfect making that. But I do like ribeye steak. I tend to prefer it over a pan, and in a cast iron pan, as opposed to a grill. I mean, I love grill marks on a steak and the nice char that you get on it. Like, that's absolutely fantastic. But the way that I figured out about like where you take the garlic and the shallots and the thyme and butter base it just like over and over and just like flavor,
exactly, and just let everything just sit there and just like juice up. It's amazing.
Well, there's like there are there's 2 mistakes that people say are consistent. One is the resting,
Mm-hmm.
where like people forget to make sure to let their steak rest
Mm-hmm.
for usually about 10 minutes. The other thing is tempering,
Right.
which is like people will like, they'll be like, oh, I've got a steak in the fridge. They'll take it out, they'll season it, and then they'll cook it. But what you actually need to do is make sure that it just sits out and rests for like about 30 minutes until it gets to room temperature, because otherwise it doesn't cook evenly.
No, that's good to know, because I'm the type that I'll do that. I'll just take it out, let it sit there for like maybe like a minute, and then I'll just throw it in there instead of just like giving it like the full rest time.
Oh, okay. So I got some tips. So yeah, so you take it out, you temper it for 30 minutes, and then after it's room temp, then you take some paper towels and just get that excess moisture off. It's got to be dry in order to capture that sear. Then you put on some high heat neutral oil, like avocado oil. You put that, and that'll act as a binder for your salt and pepper. Some people say don't put pepper on until after, because it'll affect the sear. But to me, it's just like all about what it tastes like to you. But yeah, you do those things, and you set it before your seasoning, and then you get it in the pan, like sizzling hot pan, sear, flip it, sear, make sure you get all the edges, and then just like get your base and your rest in, and you'll have yourself a really good steak.
I gotta try that, because you gave me the burger recipe yesterday, so I'm gonna try that with the kids. Yeah, I was asking my kids, I was like, "Do you want burgers today?" And I was like, "No, we just want pizza." So I was like, "Dang, I didn't waste my time in doing that." But as soon as they say that they want a burger, I'm going for that.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing with the ground beef as with the steak. Let it temper, let it rest up, and then you just kind of take that like little golf ball, put it in the sizzling hot pan, and smash it down. Watch it sear.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw some rapid fire questions at you. We only have 3 to end the show. Leading into the food question, the food conversation that we had. So you got guys, grocery games or Chopped. Which one are you picking?
Grocery games or Chopped?
Mm-hmm.
Probably go for Chopped.
What was the worst job you ever had?
I can't name the company.
No, you don't have to.
Okay,
you don't have to name the company.
You know what? Actually, you know what? I will say, because it wasn't that. In my professional career, there was one company that I didn't prefer to work for, but the worst job that I ever had was as a pizza delivery boy. And it wasn't because I hated doing like the job. It was the guy who I worked for was, as I came to find out pretty quickly, it was pretty bigoted. So when you're a Jewish kid in Baltimore and you're dealing with some sort of Maryland redneck and he doesn't treat you right, that not a fun experience. Not a fun experience. I was more than happy to like leave that job.
Oh my God. What is your most
bigots make everything worse, man. Don't be a bigot.
Exactly. Last question. What is your most proudest moment?
My proudest moment. I would say that seeing my son actively make the right decision for the right reasons for the first time at such a young age was probably my proudest moment, because I think that as a parent, when like the most like it's very nerve-wracking to be a parent. You're like, what am I going to do to like that this kid's going to talk in therapy at one point sooner or later. But to see that's like, that what we're doing, that he actually was able to absorb and affect, and that made me feel like I'm doing this right. And I think that first time as a parent, when you feel like that you're doing this right, that's probably the most gratifying thing, because like from the moment that you become a parent, it's like ready or not, it's go time. Just like pedal to the metal, just like constantly being in the present.
Oh, yeah.
just like constant awareness. And as stressful as it is, it's also super gratifying. And when your kids do right by you, I think that is a reflect. I'd like when my kid does right by me, I feel like that's like a reflect. That's a reflection of me, and that's like something that's like not even out of my hands. That's like someone who I'm trying to like impart knowledge, wisdom, morals, values down to, and he does it right.
Yeah, I mean that exactly you took the words right out of my mouth, because like sometimes I look at my kids and they do certain things and I'm just like so proud of them, and then there are other times where they do stuff and I'm just looking at them, I'm like, you probably got that from your mom's side of the family. Like, like you're not,
There's
you're not.
often times when me and my wife are like,
Mhm.
like they got that from you. And they're like, no, no,
Exactly.
from you.
Oh my God. But Robert, thank you so much for taking the time out, speaking with us, talking some figure talk with us, talking some stakes as well. I know you're a very busy person, so thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with me.
Thanks for having me. Can't remember, get the Macho Man and
Yes.
Macho Madness announcers pack with your Ultimate Edition arena right now. MattelCreations.com. Let's unlock the arena as soon as possible. It's going to get unlocked. You want to get on in this.
All right, let's give it one more time from Robert from Mattel.